bloody fuck. Everything is motherfucking today. No. Okay, let's see what's going on here now. Good morning.
Good day. How are you?
I'm not bad. How are you? We're just hang out, I guess, for a couple minutes, and I'll open it up. We are actually broadcasting, but I'll open it up to other people when they start to come in. Let me see what we were looking at here now. Okay, so just hang tight. I'll open it up just now. All right. Hello.
Hi again. Yeah.
Hi. How are you doing? Okay, so like I said, we should be starting in about 10 minutes. So just hang tight. I'll introduce yourself, or you can introduce yourself, and we can take it from there.
And I'll be able to share my screen, correct?
Yes, you can. Correct.
And all we're doing is recording now?
We are broadcasting on YouTube as well as through my website.
It had another function earlier.
So I'm going to step out for a second. Excuse me. But I'll just hang on. I'll be right back. I'm not going anywhere. You just
all right, thanks.
Thanks. Okay. Yeah, it's a little early. Hi, hi Colette. I'm just putting you in the waiting room because your image is up. I just want to get the conference image up. So just letting you know that. All right.
No problem.
All right. Cool. Okay. A few minutes left to turn the camera on. Why it does that? Still have a few more minutes. And we'll wait. I'm waiting for somebody to come. Yes, hello, colleague. If you can hear me, you can come in the room now. Please come and join us. Hello, good morning. Just a moment. Sorry, I'm outdoors. It is the end of the day because you're locking down shortly. But please, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us, Ms. Colette Curlew, from the NCDA, the National
Council on Drug Abuse.
I was thinking supposed to be drug abuse something. The C just kind of confuses me in there. But, please introduce yourself. What do you do with the NCDA and DA, and what is the association?
Sure, I'm Colette Curlew, and I am the director of the Client Services Department at the National Council on Drug Abuse.
Sorry, did you mind repeating that? Sorry, I forgot to press record. Sorry, go ahead.
That's fine. Good day, everyone. My name is Colette Curlew, and I'm the director of the Client Services Department at the National Council on Drug Abuse. What do we do here? We gather data first of all, right? So we go around the country and we look at best practices around the world to decide on what would be best for Jamaica and the context that we operate in. And we use that information to guide policymakers in making legislation, in coming up with standards, and also in developing policies. And we use the best evidence that's out there and the best practices and what the data says to drive our prevention and treatment programs. And we do training because we can't do it without the help of persons in communities, and our stakeholders and partnerships with different organizations. So we also train persons. And we implement these evidence-based prevention programs in schools, in communities, in workplaces. And a big part of what we do is public education. So we're using the social media platform mainly now because schools are closed and we have limited access to them, and also the traditional media to do the public education aspect of it.
Okay, and I find that interesting. I've lived in many parts of the world, and they do have significant drug abuse problems. There is one making sure that Jamaica does not have significant drug abuse problems. What are the issues that are addressed in Jamaica?
So you're saying we do not have significant drug abuse problems?
Well, I'd like to know what are these?
Can I share my
please.
screen and show you what some of this? You need to enable me to share, please.
I will do so. Give me a moment.
I like your rooster back there. He's having fun today.
Oh goodness. It's a Negril thing. I'm a Negril, so.
Awesome. One of my favorite places to be. I love Negril. I love the beach.
Absolutely, absolutely. Are you aware of how I can invite you to share?
Perhaps if you click on the participants.
Right, that's what I'm looking for.
Maybe you could make me a co-host, and that would
okay.
help
Let me do that.
share.
Right. Okay, I'll do that. Make co-host. Okay.
You've disabled the screen sharing.
I've disabled.
There you go. No.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So let me put it in this view. Oh, oops, wait. I'm going to unshare. I need to share with audio because I wanted to share something with you as well.
Okay, please.
Share sound. All right, and then screen 2 and share.
Okay.
All right, so the last time we did a national household survey was in 2016. And from that, what we can see is that 317,000 Jamaicans reported harmful use of alcohol.
Okay.
140,000 Jamaicans were showing that they were daily cigarette smokers. And of the 50% of the persons who use ganja in the last year, 50% of them were at the risk of addiction or problematic use, okay? So what it also shows is that alcohol still remains the drug of impact. That's being used. There's a narrowing though of the gender gap between male and female, and ganja or cannabis remains the most widely used illicit substance. And crack cocaine is less than 1% of the general population. Worried about adolescents? Yes.
Right. All right, go ahead. No, please, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Okay, we're worried about our adolescents and how they're gaining access and using it. And what we find is that how you view the drug.
Sorry?
Okay. And what we find is that there's an association between use and exposure, the low perception of harm, the lack of parental bonding, and behavioral problems also increase the use of drugs.
Okay, so you take it as more of a social issue. Sorry, please go ahead.
All right, I'm just telling you the data.
I'm listening. I'm absorbing it. Listening.
And then as I shared earlier, 42.1%. This is current use, and that means in the past 30 days. So 42.1% of the person interviewed said they used alcohol in the past 30 days. 15.8% said yes for cannabis, and 11% for tobacco. And what we also did was we go to ganja festivals, and we'll have talks with persons. And what we wanted to do was to use this to kind of inform our messaging and our interventions and who we need to strengthen our partnerships with to be more effective. So we looked at the patterns of ganja use, we look at the attitudes towards use by the vulnerable groups, and these would be children and pregnant persons, pregnant women, and the perspective of how we are to treat with problematic use. And what we found was that the majority of them said that this is ganja festival. So it would have been in, I think it was Negril and St. Anne, 96.3% at one festival and 79.2% at the other one says that they have used ganja at some point in their lifetime. The majority, 81.5%. I would just say this and then I give you a chance after this slide, and then we talk a little bit. How about that?
No problem. That's fine. That's
fine.
And
then 69.9% of them said that children should not be using at all, under 18. And what we do know is that substances impair the brain development, and we're talking substances.
Right.
And so we would rather them using after 25, but we're adults at 18. So at least up to 18 can you not use
I'm
because of
surprised at
what
that
it
figure,
does.
actually. I'm surprised that 69, no, almost 70% is saying that it's, or less, or 70% is saying it's harmful. As
For
I would think that
children,
number
this
should
is
be
for
higher. No,
children.
no, I'm saying, I thought, I would think that would be higher. I thought that across the board, we kind of had that agreement that children should not. So I find that
So
very
some,
interesting. Yeah.
one was in Negril, one was in St. Anne. So Negril had the lower numbers in terms of majority. When we say majority, Negril Festival went lower. And for one, 81% said pregnant women shouldn't smoke, and 49 at the other one said pregnant women can smoke.
Okay.
And they agreed though that the Rastafari community, if anybody is in there and need any treatment, they should seek it. And also they all supported, well, no, 93 and 75% said we should go ahead and do our promotion among youth, that they shouldn't be smoking. And 80 and 70% said they knew of NCDA, and they are suggesting that we'll continue our focus on public education, research, prevention, and policy and treatment. So you can go ahead now and we can talk and then I'll go back to it.
Right on, thank you.
Wait, one more thing. I forget this part. No, the treatment
Okay.
data, persons that were in facilities for treatment were predominantly males. 50% of them said they were, I would say 70% were under 30. And this was 2013, 2017. Majority were educated up to the secondary level, which is 49%. 50% were in treatment because of ganja, and 38% for crack cocaine, 20% for alcohol, and 10% were previously arrested and had been arrested in the past year, while 46% were previously arrested. And for NCDA, 88% of our clients were male, 12% were female, 61% of them were children, 39% of them were adults. And the drug of impact that we saw persons with was ganja, and then alcohol, and then crack cocaine and tobacco and ecstasy. Your time now. I haven't given you much.
You link those all into one. No, that's it's, I'm just finding the numbers are interesting. When you mentioned that there's a need for education. There's a clear disparity. If St. Anne and the Grill are saying, you know, almost there's a 40% difference between what they're saying with suggestion of child use. That's obviously paramount. Well, tell me what are there? I mean, we're all about cannabis. In this conference and what we're doing. Tell me what are the problems that you find with ganja use? Is it the prevalence of use? Is it too much use? Is it the abuse of use? Are you finding people becoming abusive if they're not consuming? What are the problems with cannabis that you're finding?
So what we are finding, one, is that we're still not sure what the legislation says. All right, okay. So smoking in public spaces is not allowed. People are still smoking everywhere, and it's not allowed. Similarly to where cigarettes are not allowed to smoke, it's the same thing. No smoking in public spaces, no smoking at sporting events, entertainment events, whereas are there schools, no smoking in public spaces. So I think that is still not known by the majority of persons. Also, children, they are not allowed to be smoking according to the law. So I think those are the two things. And what the third thing that I would perhaps flag is the recreational use, which is still not allowed. So I think it's allowed for medicinal purposes, it's in public. Recreational use is still illegal, but possession has been decriminalized of 2 ounces or less.
So what does NCDA feel about that decriminalizing of cannabis and I guess the freeing of the herb in the nation? How do you guys, what's your take on that?
We agree that it is for therapeutic or medicinal purposes. For the research of the use of it for research, for religious purposes, we're all for it for that. And we recognize that persons may use it. I have more to share. I'll
give it back. I just wanted to get the pictures. I just wanted to get your face.
Yeah, be like that. And so I think for us, that is our concern. We're concerned that children have access to it.
Okay.
It impairs their brain development. We're concerned that sometimes productivity might drop because of use and misuse of it, because as you saw, 80% of our clients are in here because of ganja use.
Right,
Um,
right.
and that's across the drug treatment courts, across child diversion programs, and in our treat probations and clients that walk in for us.
Okay, okay. So what is this campaign about? The Good Ganja Sense campaign. Please tell me a little bit about
So
that.
we
Do I have to open
recognize,
up the screen
so
share again?
can you imagine that we have been saying what is not good about ganja, but there are some good things about ganja. And that's
Absolutely.
what this campaign is about, informing you about the facts about ganja, and then hopefully you'll make informed decisions regarding that. And as I'm stressing again, that the good thing for us is the medicinal part of it, and more
Right.
research to be done so that we can know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is what is important and critical for the public to know about ganja. This is how you're to use it. We are against smoking generally,
Okay.
tobacco,
Right.
or ganja, because of the harmful effects it has on the body.
Right. Right. Okay.
So we would rather that it be done according to the prescribed, I'm using the term, what's the word? With lots of reservations.
With lots of
uh,
reservations. Okay. Well.
because smoking is not good. So the
Right. Right.
medicinal use of it would be through tinctures and maybe taking out the THC, using the CBD oils and other methodology. The cannabisol and those things are what the preferred method is. But we recognize the rights of persons to choose.
Right.
And that's something that we are learning and practicing more harm reduction as well, so that you are aware that, and I hear the buzzword is coming up again, that people can become addicted. That's coming up again to it. And so we would want persons to be more deliberate and
In their use.
selective
Right.
in
No,
their
understood.
use and
More
not cause
intentional,
harm.
to use with intention, not just kind of willy-nilly,
Yeah.
as people are accustomed to. I mean, because it is a part of the culture, the consistent use of cannabis. You do have a challenge ahead of you. So I mean, what type of challenges have you been facing when you do approach entities, organizations, people like the CLA and so on, to say, look, we need to educate people? How has that been?
So we are all for it, and the project goal is to improve this good ganja sense, because that's the name of it. The overarching goal of this project is to improve ganja literacy among the Jamaican population, to strengthen the capacity to make good choices about ganja use.
Right.
The components of it, and I'll answer that question, is project management. You have to manage a project. Then you do mass communication. We hope to have a big mass communication campaign out there. And we want to do school engagement. So we're looking at the
Okay.
policy school. We're trying to build a peer leadership and their capacity to lead, and by example and also by choice, and show their peers how to operate. And what we realize is that there's a family component. So we're trying to build a family bonding and communication, so that children can thrive rather than strive within their families and
Right.
communities.
Right.
And we want the communities to protect the children.
Of course, right on. So, all right, so that's okay.
So
That's
we are
no,
doing
no. Go
this
ahead,
in
go ahead.
partnership with other organizations, because the first phase of it that we did in about 3 years ago was know the facts, know to act. And what was hoped in
Okay.
that round of it when it was launched, and that was shortly after the 2015 decriminalization and the amendments to the DDA, was that we would have different target groups being market segmented, and have messages for them: the farmers, the growers, the tourists, the schools, communities. We had the different, but the funding did not come through for this. So what we did instead now was to focus on the youth And so when we had focus group meetings with them, they said, tell us the truth and give us the facts, and then we will know how to act. So that's how we came up with it, talk the truth. And we did that campaign for about 2-3 years, and now we're doing a new phase of it now. We call this phase 3. And this the media component, we're going to have social media component, because that's where everybody is at now. We're going to have radio, radio and TV ads. We're going to have billboards. We have a jingle that I'll play for you as well. We're still going to continue. I'm going to play the jingle.
Yeah, no, I was gonna get to that. We can help you significantly with the media creation, as well as, of course, the campaign, getting it out there to people. That's where we are, definitely that format. I was gonna ask precisely that. Well, what are the components? What's the messaging that you're giving? Is this back to
we're still developing the messaging, right? But the theme of it is good ganja sense. We will have specific messages targeting different groups coming up. But can I play the jingle for you then now?
Please go ahead. As long as you can hear it, please go ahead.
Yes, I'm going to play the jingle for you now, so that at least you see where we're at.
All right, the messaging, because that's what's most important, of course, the messaging.
All right, so I'm going to play this for you now, and then you can share sound, okay, on this screen. Okay.
There we go.
Good ganja sense. Learn more your ganja, just be smart with it. Good ganja sense. Good ganja sense. We have many uses for the cannabis. Knowledge is power. Youths, we need that. Ganja smoking and no picnic thing that. Commercial ganja, you farm then you reap. Entrepreneurs and scientists. Good ganja sense. Learn more the ganja, just be smart with it. Good ganja sense, good ganja sense. We have many uses for the cannabis. Be smart with your ganja, go get a permit. Ganja full of uses, make sure you learn it. Make me tell you, can a solid make for eyes. Ganja can boost lives. Good ganja sense, good ganja sense. Learn more the ganja, just be smart with it. Good ganja sense, good ganja sense. We have many uses for the cannabis.
This Good Ganja Sense message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness and the National Council on Drug Abuse.
So,
all right, it's interesting message, but you see, it's not necessarily addressing the usage. Using it, say we could do this, and this. That's not really speaking to the usage, but I do say it stage 3. I'm assuming there's more to it.
Trying to get you back large on my screen. Anyway, you're this small though.
Let me. I have to. No, how did I?
No, I don't think it's you. I think it's. Oh yeah, yes. So all right. You can ask questions now, and I'll try and answer.
Right. No, I was just saying that the messaging is a good messaging, because it is informing to make, with kind of a little bit of what we try to do here as well, which is informed to make, is that it's not just about smoking and even Rastafari. There's a lot more that comes with it. There's industry, there's commerce, there's entrepreneurship, there's research and medicine development. There's all that good, wonderful stuff to come out of it. But you didn't address the actual smoking, which is what is obviously most prevalent. I was kind of expecting something to say, oh, don't smoke. Well, you said no picketing that. I did. All right, we did get that. But I thought you're addressing more of the smoking and the consumption, how to consume, and so on and so forth. I was expecting something like that. But that's
okay. You're hoping that we would have addressed more of the smoking.
Well, I was expecting. That's what I was expecting. That's what I was expecting to see you address, I guess.
Okay, I'm trying to understand. What about the smoking? Tell me more. What you were?
Well, just the dangers of consumption and so on. Being you're coming from the National Council of Drug Abuse. I didn't expect you to be as supportive as I am, at least on that side of cannabis. So I'm happy to see that. But I'm just
that happens every day, Omari. That's our message every day. Every day we're telling people, do not smoke, do not drink. Well. And if you have for the adults, we're saying make sure that you do not misuse the product, but use it in smaller proportions. Make sure that your health is not impacted, because I have the slides to show you okay. what I had the slides to show you the impact that it can have on the economy, on your health, and on your families. Because if you are not healthy, you cannot be productive. You have cut down your lifespan, right? Because you know the diseases that you can get from it, cancers, smoking generally.
Right.
Emphysema, you have breathing disorders. A number of persons that I know that smoke ganja with COVID, they had adverse reactions to it.
Yeah,
With COVID.
that's interesting. There's a theory out there that COVID can actually kill the ganja can actually kill it. Make no mistake, that's a very strong sentiment that exists out there, predominantly among smokers, of course, but it definitely exists. We do not propagate such information, but it's the prevailing thought.
It's propaganda. And I've seen people that have smoked ganja and they had negative reaction to the COVID vaccine. Any non-communicable, any underlying disorders. And that's why I know generally you hear the minister saying these persons have died and they had comorbid disorders. They were underlying disorders. Most of them that died. And smoking does not help it at all. And especially, that's your cat?
It's a cat that believes if I'm his human. That's kind of how it works, but yeah.
Yes. So I would not test that theory.
Okay,
Do that and test this theory. But we have been saying that all these years. That's what we say. And we have been against ganja smoking generally. So what we are now saying is that still not good for you. However, ganja does have benefits used medicinally.
Okay.
And preferably not smoked.
Well, that would lead me to have to ask the question, because there are, I mean, even high levels of THC is also therapeutic and medicinal for many cases. Many people consume largely because of anxiety, so it is kind of therapeutic. There is a yes, we can go out to a party and smoke, but it's always really just to kill the anxiety thing, just like drinking to a level.
So I must tell you that even yesterday I went to. I was on the road and visited some of my treatment providers, and there were some children there, say underage youth, they smoked and they were hospitalized.
Yeah.
This is
what
1
age
week
group are we
later.
talking about? 1 week later?
1 week later, and they could barely walk. A couple of them could barely walk. So it does. I mean, you might find that, yes, anxiety might go down a little bit. But however, what it does is that it's going to give you memory problems too. You're going to get bronchitis. You're going to have the burning mouth, the lips, the hands. You see it. Crack cocaine does that too. You're going to have the cough. A lot of chronic smokers, you hear the lung
Almost definitely.
and the cough.
I smoke.
Yes.
I know, but yeah.
Do you have a cough?
Not persistent, but I know the cough. I know the cough.
And that's the same cough. That's the same reason why COVID, you'll have adverse response to COVID.
Yeah, because there's more weight.
Because you're compromised. Your immune system is compromised. So we have to, and that's what I'm talking about. And I think that's what the Rastafarians were even saying. Yeah, we know that we have medical conditions that will cause from this. And so we need to seek treatment sometime to moderate use, or maybe change how you use.
Well, that's what I was going to get to. Is there no attempt to maybe to inform people? What about vaping, which is not as harmful as smoking? As you mentioned, there's tinctures, there's edibles, which are not yet legal in Jamaica, for whatever reasons. There's other ways to consume. Yeah, I mean, what about pushing, I guess, promoting such other forms of consumption? I don't know how does NCDA's position on that? Excuse me.
Omari, keep safe, you hear, and keep physical distancing. But how about those things? We still would prefer you to only use for medicinal purposes so that it can be healthier on your body. You talk about the vaping, the heat changes the concentration of THC in the products. So it's not better for you. It is, if you want the the effects of it more, then that's better, but it's not better because you can't.
Not as damaging to the lungs. I mean, from that point of view.
And also let's talk about the edibles. I've been to ganja festivals and see people on the ground. You don't know the concentration of THC in that. You don't know what your body can think. And what happens is that it takes a longer time for it to kick in, and you are not feeling the high or the relaxation, and the anxiety is still there. You take some more.
Take more. Well, that's improper consumption. This is where you guys come in. It's all about education on how to consume.
Yeah, but what needs to happen is
one little thing. You take the one little thing. That's it.
Yeah, and standardization, but we can't promote that use because it's illegal.
Well, in Jamaica.
So, yeah, NCDA is about promoting what's legal and what's healthy, and we can't promote that. And even though even this ganja literacy campaign is financed by the Ministry of Health, but we still have to do a lot of investigation. We don't know half of what ganja can do or a quarter of what it can do. So more research is required.
Well, and the more research that is being done, we're finding more and more benefits as well. But then we are also,
we are here to highlight that.
Are coming. The negative effects are coming up. The levels of, especially with children, there is I wouldn't necessarily call it addiction, but definitely dependency is definitely clearly evident.
What do you think about children using? What do you think?
I think absolutely not. I think just absolutely not. I mean, maybe ganja tea as a medical something like that, fine, but nothing, ganja to get high. No.
What about pregnant women?
Pregnant women, I will leave it up to science. I don't have an opinion on that. I'll leave it up to science.
What about persons that have a predisposing mental health disorder that will make worse?
Well, you see, that now becomes debatable because I do know that especially in Jamaica, there is always a notion that ganja makes you mad and this and that. And you see these people walking the street, it's ganja sending mad, da, 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 da. And quite frankly, I'm of this theory that many of these people were going mad, and quite frankly, cannabis probably kind of contained it for quite some time. So that's debatable as far as I'm concerned.
So where we are concerned on the things that we can agree on, let's move forward and say it with one voice. And that's what NCDA is doing. And based on what I shared with you earlier, we're saying no to children. So that's something we can proceed and tell the world that children should not use.
No, I fully agree with that.
Okay. And majority of persons will say pregnant women because you want to, if children shouldn't use, then the child in the womb should not be using. So you get what I'm saying? So those are the points that we can agree on and move forward on. And that's why NCDA now is looking more to partner more. So you mentioned CLA. We are partnering with CLA as well. They have invited us to some of their forum and we're in agreement with them. We have even done audits on the facilities and our findings is shared with them because what we want persons to do is not see the herb houses as somewhere where they can get legal ganja, but rather medicinal ganja.
Right. Well, a lot of them do focus on that, but there is the tourist attraction being in Jamaica, so that there's a fun element to it that they do market with it. I guess.
I was at a concert, right? And I was in the VVIP area because I love music. Right. I love it. And I was in the VVIP area, and somebody from Trinidad was in there as well. And he came and was smoking. And I said, no smoking here, sir. No, I'm from NCDA. I'm going to say no smoking around me because of more reasons than one. I know it's my right. I know it's illegal. 3 is that I have 2 family members that died because of smoking, not ganja, but cigarettes.
Okay. Right.
So I'm more passionate about not inhaling your fumes.
Right. No, I hear you. Yeah.
Right. And I'm telling him no smoking. And he was telling me, ganja free up in Jamaica, I can smoke anywhere. And so that's the miscommunication or misconception that people have. And what we have to be careful of, Omari, is that when you smoke, I smoke too. Whoever is around you will be smoking as well. So we would want you to consider the persons around you, which is why we say no smoking in public spaces. Right. If you notice, we're not coming in your house and say don't smoke in your house. We say it if you have people employed to you, because we're saying you should not be smoking around them as well. But certainly consider the other persons around you because they may not be so resilient or resistant as you are.
That's a hard hard argument to bring to Jamaicans. I don't know, but I wish you luck in that one. I don't know. I may not join that one, but I may get too much pushback. You guys have the government backing you. I'm just a private citizen here, so
Yes.
I don't know.
And come Tuesday, sorry.
I was just gonna bring it up. But you have these sessions going on. The women in cannabis. Want to tell me about?
Right. So if I can share that again, can I just share that again?
I mean, if you can share, I think you're already co-host. I think you can just share. So yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So you see that now. So oops, let me make this bigger. So
I was gonna try to share it myself actually, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So come Tuesday, March 30th at 2 p.m. via Zoom, we will have Women in Ganja Forum. See, we're progressing, we're progressing, aren't we?
I love it. Like I say, I'm liking the fact that there is an embracing element to it from the NCDA. That's a beautiful thing. That's a good synergy. That means that we can develop an industry in Jamaica. That's positive to me.
And we're calling it's a herb play on the word.
I saw that.
It's a herb word. No. And our moderator will be the infamous Dion Jackson Miller.
Right on. I saw very, very impressive. I just to throw in, the other day, 2 days ago, we had a session and we had the new CLA CEO, we had the Barbados CEO, and basically they're all women. So it's like all the leaders in these institutions in the Caribbean are women. So yes, I guess it's a herb.
And we were deliberate in not including our executive director, who is a gentleman on the program. So instead, we would have the director of our corporate services department bring in some greetings and welcome there. We have Cheryl Murray Powell, who's an agricultural cannabis and dietary supplement attorney, and Chantal Carr, who is a ganja breeder, Annette Henry, who is an attorney at law and has licenses and regulation information, and Felisa Bailey, who is now at CLA. And our launch was held on March 9th, and we had the CLA current CEO at that launch. So we're trying to get information out there. When we have the specific messages for the different target groups ready, we'll be happy to share with you when that time comes.
Please do, please. And we'd be happy to work with you on some of these campaigns as well. I've got a very solid media background. So that's and we have a program. This isn't just about this and be recording. It's we have the Ganja Project television. Hopefully it will be on television. So if we can get you guys to sponsor us and we can afford to put it on television. So yeah.
So that's what happened, Omari. One of the reasons why the information out there is not so great yet is because of the lack of consistent funding for us too, because we're a government.
Right.
But certainly what we hope to do is to partner with more entities and to have more information out there with this Ganja campaign to hopefully get some more information in a sustained manner, similarly to what you're trying to accomplish.
It is necessary because people learn and they forget and they go back to their old ways, and if you're trying to effectively change the culture, it takes a good reiteration of notion. That's really the only way to impact it. Please do send me that video. I will put it up on our website. I'll put up the actual video and so on. Thank you very much for joining us, Colette, or Miss Curlew, Colette, or I guess I can call you Colette now. We're friends now. We're friends now. We're cool.
Yes.
I will call on you again for more information. I do like what you guys are doing. I think it's great that you are embracing the industry from an appropriate point of view for what you stand for and so on.
And for the growers as well, we wish them well. We hope that soon all small farmers will be part of the formal trade as well. That is what I know CLA is working on to their alternative development, because it's absolutely critical that nobody feels that they're doing anything illegal here. That's not the plan, and that it can be what they're doing can be a part of the formal structure and system. I
think the problem with that is that they already don't think what they're doing is illegal, and they just think we should just be a part of the system because we're already here. And there's of course certain issues with that, but that's a whole part of the problem. I think what we're doing is absolutely not wrong, and so we should just be continuing what we're doing and start making some. It doesn't exactly work that way. But what that does do, in fact, is end up getting a lot more cannabis out into the market. So again, the consumption information is also, I think, important.
because we see what happened. Was it yesterday that I heard that some ganja was seized? The U.S. Saw them.
I didn't hear that. I've been busy with the conference.
U.S. saw like an exchange was happening between Cayman Islands
I
and
think I saw something. A good few tons, a couple of hundred, a good amount. Yes, I did hear something about that.
yeah. So you may not feel that what you're doing is illegal, but you have to look at how the country views it and other countries. And so until the UN convention sees it otherwise and removes it from the list, yes, of bans. So, and even that, something Jamaica is trying to say they are medicinal properties. So we're lobbying for it at that level as well. So when they meet again, we see what happens with it. But generally across the world, it is still viewed as illegal, attract criminal charges. Unfortunately, we were very supportive of when the 2 ounces or less, what would I say it was there? Like
impermissible, I guess.
Allowable
Right.
amount was there, and that person's records would have been expunged, and those persons that were seized with it would get a ticketable offense, because I mean that's a big deal. So for us to do that and start doing that, so we're on the way to where persons would want us to be. Some countries, all drugs are permissible and none is illegal, but certainly you have the public education in place for that. You have educated people there where that is concerned. And so what you find is that the public education, the level of education of those persons, they're employed, they're productive, and they have a robust treatment system. So you don't find misuse happening a lot in those countries. We have to find jobs for persons. So, I mean, substance use generally is an indication of other problems, misuse. Let me use the term misuse.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, so we have to fix all of those socioeconomic and medical problems.
Because it
it's
comes
a
down to medical problems,
thing.
Right? Exactly. It comes down to there being medical problems. A lot of people look at it because of psychological problems, like I said, problems at home, and just to bring it down. And yeah, and then it becomes.
It's varied. It's socio-economic, psychological. It's different reasons that cause it. But what I'm appealing to Jamaica to do is to protect our children. Please, please, please protect our children. Do not sell it to them. Do not give them access. You see videos floating around with children using and being promoted as them turning man now. It's not a rite of passage for children to get it. Please, just protect our children. Let's keep it out of their hands until they're 18. And if you're using, use wisely.
All right. Well, on that note, I think we can wrap it up. Thank you very much for joining us. We've had a great conversation. Thank you for the presentation. We fully support what you're doing. I think what you're doing is a great thing, and we'll speak to you again. And once again, and there is on the 30th, there is a Women in Cannabis Zoom session. Check out. You can see it on your website, the NCDA website.
It will be on there. Our website is down actually.
Okay. Well, you can find it on ganjaactivist.com. I'll post it up on ganjaactivist.com.
Yes, so it will be on your website. So they can
be there. If you wish to join, you can join it. We'll be there as well. We might jump.
It's on our social media platforms. Drug-free JA.
Drug-free JA social media platform. That's easy to remember. Impossible to envision, but easy to remember. All right. Sorry, but I have to say that. All right. On that note, thank you very much. All right.
Thanks for having us, and take care, Jamaica. Bless you, Omari. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Bless you.